Good morning. Hi, I'm KK Sandal.
And I'm Rebecca Whiting, and we are 7th grade representatives.
We are here today to talk to you about the food drive.
As you know, we have started the food drive this year, and it's a little bit different from years past.
This year we're not having a competition between the grades to see who can get the most food because we want all the students to donate without a reward.
We want them to understand that we need to give back to the community who has given so much to us.
You may think that everybody has rows and rows of food in their house, and if they don't, that there's rows and rows of food in the food bank for them, but that's not the case in all people's homes.
Some people are just not as fortunate.
1 in 5 children in the world today face hunger. 1 in 8 people in Wyoming have problems with hunger.
We invite the student body to help us in aiding our community and those who are struggling by donating food.
This is an example of a modern family pantry. As you can see, there's a lot of food in there. For whatever reason, not everyone has this much food. But you can help out our community by donating food. And while we're on the topic, let's talk about what types of food you can donate.
You can only donate non-perishable food.
This includes canned food.
You cannot donate homemade food.
So let's give you a little test. Can you donate canned food?
Yes!
Can
you donate homemade food?
No. Good job!
Our food drive at the Lander Middle School is known as the Bill Lee Food Drive.
Considering that many of you may not know the reason for this, we are here to inform you.
Bill Lee was a former social worker at the Lander Middle School, and before that, he was the social worker at Sterrett Junior High School.
He was majorly involved with the food drive.
We have asked him here today to ask him some questions. So, how are you doing today, Mr. Lee?
I'm doing really good, and I feel very honored to be here to talk to y'all. Being here at the middle school is a very special place in my heart, and hanging out with young people is really special.
Okay, so we have a few questions for you. Our first one is, how did the food drive get started?
The food drive actually started back in 1984. That was the year that the U.S. Steel mine shut down, and there were 400 to 500 employees that were laid off. And so when all these employees got laid off, there was a need for food. And so some of them had the retirement and that, but for the most part, the community came together to support the miners, and that's how it got started. And as our community shifted, the Care and Share Food Bank was developed to go ahead and help families that were in need.
That's pretty cool.
So, how did it get into the school?
Pat Brackley, a former teacher here with the Gifted and Talented program, at the time that the mine shut down, and myself kind of got together and decided how do we teach our students in our school about the need to reach out to the community, to do things for each other. And because the mine had shut down, a lot of our kids were affected. So that became the motivation for us to get the school involved, to have a food drive, and we usually did that between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and the food went to the Care and Share Food Bank initially.
Why is it better for students to not have a competition when bringing food in?
KK, that's a good question, and that's something as adults we wrestled with, because part of our job here as teachers is to help teach some good values and some understanding of what it's like to be a citizen in our community. And to begin with, the food drive was a lot of competition, as you said. We had homerooms, and we had competition to see who would bring the most food. We'd take it down to the gym at the old junior high there on Sweetwater, and we'd lay it out on the basketball court. We'd measure it, and each week we'd have a total to see which homeroom was ahead of the other. And you had someone like Mr. Simpson, who you all know, and Mr. Green, Kay Green, and Mrs. Hollett, who's not here, our art teacher. They would always kind of really be in competition to bring the most food, and so it was fun. It was fun, and then the team that won the most, they got a pizza party. And then we did that for about 20, 23 years, 24 years, and then I started thinking, how do we teach our kids that sometimes it's good just to do things because it's the right thing to do without expecting something in return? And so here, before I left the school 3 years ago, I've been here for 37 years, and for probably the last 3-4 years of being here and running the food drive, we created different ways to give food, but we dropped the competition. And I think initially we saw a little dip in the amount of food, But then after a while, people were still bringing food. We made a big pyramid out in this cafeteria. The art department used the food to make a sculpture, a food sculpture, and try to motivate. And we shifted our focus. And the reason to shift it was to help teach the students, you all, that in life, sometimes we do things without expecting anything in return. And we've got good examples of that. There was a Hurricane Katrina that hit the southern United States, and our community helped support a community called Theodore, Alabama. Our school went ahead and brought clothing in to donate to them. Some of you in Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, or your church functions go help bring kettlebells for the Salvation Army every year. So again, we're trying to teach that it's important to help other people in our community that might not be as lucky as us. So that's why we shifted, and I'm proud of the fact that y'all have decided that you want to continue that and not have to have a reward, because I think that's important in life.
Yeah. So, why do you think that people should donate to the Sharing Care Food Bank?
You know, it's interesting. Again, with all the work that I did, there are a lot of families here. First, the mine shut down. That was our big first eye-opener to, you know, what is it like to go without? But we have 417 families each month that go to the Care and Share Food Bank. They get food that helps supplement, to help them out. And I don't think people realize that there are families in our community, for whatever reason, a death, a loss of employment, just tragedies within the family that need the support. And so that's one of the reasons why we do what we do.
Thank you for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me up here. I really appreciate it. I'm excited to see what you guys do, and it's neat to see the tradition carried on.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your work.
Okay, so now we know about the food drive, where the food goes to, and why we should donate. But now your questions might be, how can I donate?
Right now we are going into the Lander Middle School, which is where you'll be donating your food to. So you'll just bring the food in, and the student council will eventually pack it all up in boxes, and they'll bring it to the Lander Care and Share Food Bank, which will then distribute it to the Elks Club and keep some of it for themselves in storage.
So right now we're about to head into the commons area. And as she said, you get to put your food on the stage. And behind the stage, there is a thermometer. And the thermometer keeps track of how many cans of food that we bring. If every student brings two food items, we would be incredibly close to reaching our goal of 1,000.
Right now there's only 121, which is just a little bit over 100.
So come on, LMS, let's donate some food.